All right, we're back this week with the Fight Shop New Mexico Combat Corner. I'm your host, Sal Mora, and we're here with Leroy, obviously, and we're talking about ECS 1, Elite Combat Series 1 at the McKernan Event Center. It was your first experience being that close to the cage. Walk us through the event from your eyes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was the first time I ever covered any kind of combat sports in a media capacity. So they put me right up in front of the ring. I'm right there, and it's just like, it's crazy because you could reach out and actually touch the fighters. And my first concern is, am I going to get sweat and blood all over me? You know
Possibly.
what I mean? So I'm like, good thing I'm wearing my glasses. It's like I'm like riding motorcycle. I'm keep my mouth shut as much as possible because I don't want no blood up in my chiclets and stuff. So it was great. I'll tell you, it's a whole different perspective when you're close and when you're live. I tweeted something about it. I said, you know, it sounds like someone's taking a hammer and literally busting a pumpkin. That's the sound, the echo that a head makes when an elbow or a fist cracks into it. And it's right there, you get that thunk thunk. So it was great. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to doing more of this in the future. You know, here with Combat Corner, and then obviously with Red Menace TV. It's a blast. I'll be doing it again.
Now, what fight stood out to you as the highlight fight?
Well, it was Andrew Tennyson and Watley, I believe his name
Oh,
was.
Joel Whitney.
Joel Whitney, thank you. Joel Whitney.
Santa Fe BJJ.
Yeah, that was an awesome, just a battle. I mean, they started off, they were smacking each other, a little bit of striking. It gets to the ground. I'm still not real confident with the names. I think it's Omoplata.
Sure.
Andrew put Joel into the omoplata. His thumb is literally touching the back of his spine there, the top of his spine where it connects to the skull. No, he didn't tap out, which was amazing because you could see his arm and how it didn't break. I don't know. I mean, these guys are tough. I mean, you don't realize that sometimes. These guys are tough. They're badasses. I'm just going to say it.
Sure.
And they rolled around. He was able to break out of that, and then eventually. Andrew, and I do have an interview with Andrew that we're going to run as part of the Combat Corner Day. He was able to get him from behind and choke him out, and he did tap then. That was the fight of the night. I thought. I know there was another fight. The young man from El Paso got into a striking battle, and
Francisco Marina at Challenge Dojo.
And that was a heck of a fight too. Really a lot of striking. They went on the ground a little bit. So you got a little bit of everything, a little bit of a controversial end there. A guy got kicked basically in the nether region, if you will,
Nice.
and he felt it, and then took a shot to the head, and the ref didn't see the shot to the huevos, if you will. And even though they got scrambled, they went ahead and called it then a TKO, and that was the end of that one. That was a great fight. There was a couple of amateur fights that were really good. Some guys making their first ever appearances, and we'll put some of those up here and stuff like that. We'll do some things like that on the website. But I'll tell you, it was an awesome experience. I thought Elite they did a great job. There was a lot of people there. There was electricity in the building. They had the music going. It's just like exactly what you'd see on TV. I thought it was pretty good. And in fact, it will be on TV. ProView Sports did have cameras out there, and they're going to show the entire card. I'm not exactly sure of what time and date, but it will be broadcast.
Nice. So that's exciting. It'll be on Comcast, of course, correct?
Yes, Comcast, and then obviously on the website as well.
Very cool. So I haven't been to McKernan Event Center for a fight. How is that event center for a fight night?
It's nice. I mean, it's black inside. You know, you have the octagon there. People are there. It's close. It's very close. So it's not like even if you're in the back area. It's situated so you're still really close to the action. It's not like you're far off. It's not a huge stadium or something like that. So you get that enjoyment. Obviously, they have the dressing rooms in the back. They can come in. The music was loud. It was pumping. They had the snack bar, everything going. People seem to be having a good time. They enjoyed it. Parking wasn't too bad. I know that they're going to have some events. Combat Sports, I think Golden Gloves is coming this weekend. There's some other events that'll be coming here in the future there to the McKernan Center. I encourage everyone to go out and check it out if they get an opportunity. The price is right, and it's a fun place to go to, and it's not too far.
Absolutely, and everybody in Albuquerque, everybody in New Mexico always complains there's not enough entertainment. There's not enough entertainment. Well, they got roller derby, they got wrestling, they got boxing, they have MMA. They have it all there, so check it out. McKernan Event Center. You could Google it and find their website and look through their list of events. We'll be right back.
All right, we're here with Andrew Tennyson. Obviously a fight of the night. Andrew, talk about tonight's fight.
Well, if it was fight tonight, I guess I got to take your word for it. I haven't seen all the other ones, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, I guess I want to ask you about the unorthodox cartwheel kick that you threw there. What was that all about?
The cartwheel kick that didn't work. You can be flashy, but if you don't set it up right, it's pointless. But I had lots of work to do, and I was having fun, and my opponent was really good, so I ended up having to go with bread and butter jiu-jitsu.
Going into tonight's match, the word is your ground game. I thought your ground game was amazing tonight. Talk about that.
Thank you. Well, I've been grappling for a while. I started grappling, but I'm a mixed martial artist, so I'm trying to work on everything. And I guess I just got, him in a good position, and he was fighting out of lots of things. I thought I had an arm lock on him, but then he got out of that, so I ended up getting a choke.
He was a great fighter, I thought. I thought he gave you a really good match and a good fight. Talk about him a little bit.
As I said in some other interviews, Santa Fe BJJ is a really good school. Quinn Mulliver fought in the UFC. He was out of there. They got Aaron Pearls, who's really good. And the coach up there, I've heard good things about him too. So Santa Fe BJJ, they're good, And Joel Whitney brought it tonight. So that's why I went to a second round.
I found out you're a coach, and you were talking to a young man there talking about not only winning the fight, but how you conducted yourself afterwards, showing respect.
Yeah, we're all in this to become better people, hopefully, and not just to hurt other people. I mean, this isn't a great way to make money, and so unless you're doing it for other people and to better yourself, you're kind of wasting your time here just being a bully. And so martial arts is about being a martial artist, and life should be about helping other people and growing.
Awesome. Andrew, what's the future hold for you now? And is it too early to tell?
Well, it's way too early to tell. I do know what the near future is, and that's waffles with jam and maple syrup. I got a waffle iron for Christmas. I haven't been able to touch it because I had to diet to make weight. So I'm really happy to be able to eat all the waffles I want now and get fat.
Awesome.
The Fight Shop New Mexico in the Montano Plaza Shopping Center, located off Coors and Montano.
I'm back with Micah from CageMinds.com. He's going to be talking about the event that happened in Santa Fe this weekend. Yeah, we've had events in Santa Fe, Albuquerque, and Las Cruces, El Paso area. But he's going to be talking about the Santa Fe fights, the boxing event, Cold War. Pat Holmes Jr. won in that event. What stood out to you as the highlight of the night?
Highlight of the night is it's early in the year, we're only in January, but we had the upset of the year. King of the Cage, former heavyweight champion Cody East, the current Legacy FC heavyweight champion, we're talking MMA heavyweight champion, got knocked out in the first round by Manuel Eastman. A beautiful double jab by Eastman, overhand right, hit East in the temple, and from there on it had him backing up against the ropes. Eastman opened up, landed some great uppercuts, the mouthpiece came out. Cody East hit the ground, dropped to his knees. Huge upset win, big win for his second win of his boxing career for Manuel Eastman.
Absolutely. I mean, I can honestly tell you, I don't think there was one person besides Manuel. There's one, his wife or girlfriend. Other than that, I don't think anybody in that arena thought that that was going to happen and take place. And congratulations to Manuel Eastman. Upset of the year for New Mexico, and we're still early in the year. But I don't see anything really topping that right here in New Mexico as that.
A two-division champion with 9-1 MMA record, 2-0 in the pro boxing ring with 2 knockout significant wins against the guy who was coming in with 1 win and 3 losses. And also was moving up a weight class, didn't look as in shape as we had seen him before. Eastman showed a lot of natural power and great boxing instinct in that fight.
Yeah, it was amazing. Now, flip side of that, where does Cody East go from here? Because there was talk that he was going to go to Glory. There was talk that, or obviously, the Legacy has his title fight coming up as well. I know there's anywhere between 30 and 45 day suspension, depending on if he lost consciousness or not, and obviously he didn't go all the way out, but the ref had to stop it. He dropped to his knees. Where, in your opinion, where do you think he goes?
I'm pretty sure he goes back to legacy. He needs to defend that title. He still has something, with that promotion, a contract. He is their champion. With Glory, you got knocked down a boxing ring. I don't know how kickboxing kind of looks at that thing, if he'd still have the same position for what they were offering him. MMA-wise, he still has that title. It would still be best for him probably to go defend that. But for him, really, it's get your health in order first. Make sure you get cleared before you get back in training. You don't want to hamper the rest of your career getting knocked out again in training or not letting your brain fully recover.
Absolutely. Now, walk us through the rest of the card for us.
Well, we had
Or the event, I should say.
the rest of the event, 5 fights in total. We told you about one. Starting off the night, we had Omar Cuvado, who a lot of us have seen here. He fought Josh Torres. He's fought some tough names against, it was Alonzo Flores. That fight was a brawl. Flores controlled the first round and part of the second. Really started to gas Omar. The older fighter, the more experienced fighter, used that resiliency, got in Flores' face, big hooks. One judge scored the fight 39-37, 3 rounds to 1 for Flores. The other 2 judges saw it as a draw, 2 rounds to 2 rounds. I don't have a problem with any 3 scorecards. The third round was a close round. They fought hard. It was a good draw and all.
I think it should have been a draw all the way around. I mean, both guys step your cardio up. And that goes for any fighter in combat sports. Step your cardio up before you get in there, especially if you're a professional. I know I'm not one to talk, but I'm not stepping in there as a professional. But you definitely have to have that cardio on point. Any other highlights for you that night?
2 others. Jose Osario looks better and better every time that kid gets in a boxing ring. He scored a 3rd round TKO of Brian Garcia. Osario really did a great job of consistently throwing punches, pumping his jab, changing up the speeds of it, and really working the body. He had the best body work of the night, really attacking and digging with his left hook. Into the co-main event, Antonio Martinez, it was his first time with Holmes Boxing. He showed a pro boxer mentality, picked his shots, landed a big right hand that crumpled Henry Barahona. And to Henry's credit, he got back up, but then another punch seconds later sent him down. The ref jumped in. So Martinez looked great showing his power. And Holmes Jr. in the main event, his length was obviously his advantage. His footwork was on display. He did a lot with the jab, keeping the speed up, keeping his distance, and was very timely with his right hands. The overhand that ended the fight was one of, I think, 2 or 3 right hands that he had. He really set up off of his first punch beautifully.
Now, and I'd say Patrick Holmes Jr. looked the most impressive to me, and it's only because what people don't understand is Pat's only had a handful of amateur fights. He never had that lengthy amateur career, and in boxing it's a little different than MMA. We talked about this a little earlier. You don't turn pro normally after 5 fights, 10 fights. It's usually anywhere between 50 and 100 fights. You've gone to the Nationals, and I'm talking about boxing. You've gone to the Nationals, you've gone to the Golden Gloves, you've gone to the Silver Gloves, you've gone to the ringside games and whatnot. You've gone as far as you can go as an amateur before you turn pro. So what's the next logical step for Pat Holmes? Being that he only had 3 amateur fights, now he's on, I believe, his 3rd pro fight. 6 fights total. 6-7 fights total. Where does he go from here?
I think he keeps on the same path he's going. His dad keeps upping the competition. People have kind of knocked the competition he's been giving because he's fighting guys that are making their pro debut or only have a 0-1 or 1-0 record. But people aren't taking into account, like you said, the guys he's fighting have a lot more amateur experience, a lot more just overall ring and gym time than him. So Patrick Holmes Jr., for basically being I remember, high school basketball player
Absolutely.
who is
Point
an
guard
athlete.
for Valley High School. Go Vikings.
Being an athlete, transitioning like this, even though the boxing runs in his family,
Sure.
I'd say the fights they're making are pretty well to where he is. We saw him in his pro debut against Brandon Salazar. He jumped in a little deeper into the water than
Sure.
he should have because Salazar had a pretty good amateur background plus a pro run. I'd say Patrick Holmes keeps going. I don't have a name for you off the top of my head, but he just needs to find somebody, again, that 1-1, 2, 3 fights as a pro maybe. Just keep building so he can catch up experience-wise with those rounds.
Now, overall, the event was a success. There was about 2,500 people. Pat Holmes knows Northern New Mexico. Northern New Mexico, to me, is boxing here in the state of New Mexico now. 2,500 to 2,800 people always consistently show up at Buffalo Thunder Casino. I'm excited for the next card. I'm hearing it's going to happen in May. So we'll see what happens there. We're gonna switch gears now, and I'm gonna ask you about the UFC that happened, UFC on Fox. I just want to touch on the main event. What was your thoughts on that main event? Because it's gonna affect John Jones, the light heavyweight champion who trains here, now lives in Albuquerque. What was your thoughts on that event?
My little tirade here, real quick. Never loved weight cutting that much, and Anthony Johnson is the poster boy for no extreme weight cutting. He's fighting a lot heavier now. That natural power is coming through. He has a larger gas tank because he's not depleting himself. And that man has power that, this is Rampage Jackson in his heydays kind of power. He's touching guys and they go down. His wins have just been impressive, and this is a test that John Jones has not had to deal with. It makes it that much more exciting because we've seen Jones get in brawls in close. This is power that he did not feel with Gustafsson or Cormier. An exciting matchup where Jones is going to have to just use a lot of his volume of striking to keep Johnson off of him.
I think it's amazing how Anthony Johnson went. He was 170. 170. Now he's 205. And he's consistently keeping that power up, like you were saying. It's going to be an interesting fight. I'll never bet against John Jones ever again after that Daniel fight. He shows up. So it's going to be an exciting night of fights. The whole thing will be, if he touches John, will he put him down? Can John sustain that power? We all know John can last 5 rounds. Can Anthony Johnson last the 5 rounds?
And John
Does he
Jones,
have the gas tank?
John Jones just out wrestled an Olympian
Absolutely.
Daniel Cormier. So where does that put Johnson in defending a takedown against Jones?
So now will he outstrike? It just depends. We'll have to see.
Just looking at it, you got to admit, Jones likes to beat people where they're best at. I'm expecting striking.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, I'm looking forward to that fight. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Again, cageminds.com. Check out his website. That's it for this week's Fight Shop New Mexico Combat Corner. Hello.